guys, so for a new cooking tutorial, I'm going to show you guys how to make my pumpkin cheesecake. You can always modify the recipe to fit your taste, but we're gonna go ahead and start the tutorial. So what you're gonna need is some graham cookies, butter, and some brown sugar. You can use light brown or regular brown, it's totally up to you. You can either crush the cookies like this, or you can use a food processor to crush them up. You want to get them kind of fine but still a little crumbly so that they're not like powdery fine, if that makes sense. Okay, and I find that it's much easier to do this with a food processor. All right, you guys, so it's gonna look like this, and then we're gonna go ahead and melt 5 tablespoons of butter and put it into the microwave, I mean, for about 20 to 25 seconds, and just melt it down a little bit at a time. You don't want to put it on a high setting and then it will spill over in the microwave. So now I'm just gonna put the crumbs in a pan. You can use a bowl and 1 tablespoon of light brown sugar and mix that together. Then I'm gonna go in and add the melted butter, and we're gonna mix this up. You want to kind of keep it crumbly. You don't want this to turn into like a paste or anything. So keep it crumbly and not over mix it. So as you guys can see, I'm just kind of tossing it so everything can have the butter on it, but I'm not pressing it down and turning it into like a pasty consistency. So as you guys can see, everything is coated with butter, but it's still pretty loose. Then I'm going to go in and put it into the springform pan that I'm using for this pumpkin cheesecake. I'm going to go ahead and put foil underneath my springform pan. This will keep it from leaking, which can sometimes happen with these types of pans. So I'm just going to cover the bottom of it with some foil. Then I'm going to add in my graham cracker crumb mixture. And you can use a spatula to, spread it out, make it nice and even. And then you can go in with another baking pan or a bowl or something just to press it down to make sure it's nice and stiff in there. All right, you guys, so I'm going to use a smaller baking pan just to press that down. It has a nice smooth bottom, so it's not going to leave any marks inside of the crust. So I'm just going to press it down and move it around, and that is going to smooth it out. Make sure you put it in your preheated oven for about 5 to 10 minutes, and the oven should be at 350 degrees. All right, you guys, for the cheesecake part of this tutorial, I'm going to add in 3 packs of cream cheese. This is just store brand cream cheese. You can use Philadelphia, whichever brand that you prefer, but this was on sale, so that's why we're using it. And 1 teaspoon vanilla extract and 1 cup light brown sugar. Now I'm using my KitchenAid mixer to mix this. You can use a hand mixer, which will probably be faster. My hand mixer is currently not in a working stage, so I'll have to buy a new one, but I'm just going to use my KitchenAid mixer to mix it up. And you want to mix it to the point where it's all combined and it gets creamy and the sugar melts. You don't want it to be like super thick and chunky and still be able to see chunks of sugar. You want to kind of mix it to the point where it gets creamy, okay? All right, you guys, so I've mixed it for about a good 5 minutes now. You can mix it as long as you like to make sure it gets nice and creamy and it looks more whipped and soft. So this is how it's going to look. And I'm just going to mix it a bit more just to make sure that everything is nice and combined. Then I'm going to start adding in my eggs. So I'm using 3 eggs. It will be best if you guys crack your eggs in a separate bowl. So this way try to avoid having eggshells inside of your cream, your cheesecake mixture. You just go ahead and mix that up. Make sure you scrape the sides of your bowl. Either if you're using a hand mixer or a stand mixer, just scrape it so that everything is nice and combined. Alright, you guys, I'm gonna go ahead and keep mixing that to make sure that everything, the eggs and the cream cheese and the sugar combines nicely. And then I'm gonna go in with my pumpkin. I'll put the ingredients down below in the description box for you guys, but I'm using a 29-ounce can of pumpkin puree. You can use fresh pumpkin if you like. It's totally up to you, you guys, okay? I'm just gonna add that in a little at a time. You guys are probably hear my 5-year-old snoring, so just to let you know, that's that noise. She's like right next to me. It was actually a very long day, so just bear with me, okay, with this tutorial. All right, so make sure you keep scraping the sides of, wow, baby. Make sure you keep scraping the sides of Make sure you keep scraping the sides of your bowl so that nothing, is left on the sides and the bottom of the bowl. Don't forget the bottom of the bowl, especially if you're using a stand mixer, because sometimes the mixer doesn't get the bottom part of the bowl, okay? Alright, you guys, the next thing I am going to do and add into the mixture is my pumpkin pie spice mix. I'll put the ingredients for it down below so you guys can make your own pumpkin pie spice. And I'm using double the recipe. So I'm doubling the recipe. So I'm adding in the first batch, and then I'll add in a second batch because I really do like the taste of pumpkin pie spice. So, and I like it like stronger, especially in my cheesecake. So I'm just doing double the amount. So 2 times the recipe, okay? Just to make sure you guys understand that. Now I'm just gonna go ahead and mix that up as well. Make sure you taste your mixture. See if you want to add more spice, more cinnamon, more whatever it is that you might like. All right, your crust should be ready and cooled down by now. Even if it's hot, it's still fine, but you want to kind of get it cool. Okay, and then you're going to just go in and add in your mixture. And it's pretty simple, you guys. Very simple things to make this pumpkin cheesecake. And just kind of even it out, give it a little shake so that all the air bubbles come on top. And then you're going to cook it in the oven at 350 for 75 minutes. You can go all the way up to 80 minutes if you like. Now I'm going to make the homemade caramel sauce, and I'm using 3/4 cups of heavy whipping cream, 1 cup of brown sugar, and 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, and a stick of butter. And I'm going to combine this and cook this, then melt it down into, a mixture, a caramel mixture in a small pot. I'm sorry guys, I don't have this footage. I was actually live streaming with you guys and I totally forgot to put the camera on. So first, just put the stick of butter in, add in your sugar, add in your 3/4 cups of heavy whipping cream and your vanilla extract, and you'll be good to go. Okay, so this part you guys can get to see, the 3/4 cups of heavy whipping cream. It really does taste great to make your own caramel sauce. At least you know what's in it, and it doesn't have any, kind of weird stuff in it. And if you don't want that much butter, you can definitely use just a half a stick of butter. Make sure you continue to stir your caramel sauce until everything is combined. You don't want to see any more heavy whipping cream. So just keep stirring it until everything is combined. Okay, so this is how it should look. And if you want, you could bring it up to a boil or let it cook slowly. But I like to bring it up to a boil because I need to get things done. So once it's up to a boil, this is how it's going to look. And then you could take it off. Everything is nice and melted and just let it cool. So our pumpkin cheesecake is done. And I'm just going to slip that off. And this is how it's going to look. It's okay if it has cracks on the top because we're going to cover that and make it pretty. Now I'm going to use about 3 cups of confectioner sugar and 3 cups of heavy whipping cream that I had in the freezer. So it looks a little chunky, but I feel as though when you put your mixing bowl, your mixing attachment, and the heavy whipping cream in the freezer, I have a deep freezer, it makes it so much easier to whip it, and it gets it done faster and it has a nicer texture. I'm also going to add in 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract to that, and I'm just going to start my machine and get that going. So now I'm going to go in and add in my 3rd cup of heavy whipping cream. So it is 3 cups heavy whipping cream, 3 cups confection sugar, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, and mix that all up, okay? It's just a habit of mine to mix the first 2 cups and then add in the last one. It's just a habit of mine, but you can definitely add it in all at once and just mix it. It'll taste exactly the same way. So I'm just going to mix that. I put it on the highest speed on the machine that it allows me to do, so I can get a nice thick texture and the air is able to get in there. Make it nice and fluffy. I think I'm in love with heavy whipping cream. It's like one of my favorite things to make when I do like baking related stuff, cakes and pies and whatever. It tastes so good. Okay, so this is how your heavy whipping cream should look once you're done. So now you have whipped cream. Then we're gonna use one of these attachments. You can use any that you have. I bought this from a set that was sold in Walmart, and I have one of those piping bags, and these are just, you know, disposable. You could throw them out. So I'm just gonna go ahead and fill that. You can even put this piping bag in like a really tall cup to fill it up if you like, but make sure you squeeze out the air before you start piping. Squeeze out the air, make sure you have a nice even stream coming out. So now here's our pumpkin cheesecake with all its cuteness, and I'm just gonna start piping on my whipping cream. And I'm just gonna do a very simple circular design, almost like a little flower. And I'm just gonna do this all over the top part of the cheesecake. And I'm just gonna fill in the little holes. If I can see the cheesecake through it, I'm just gonna fill it in by just doing singular little dabs. Okay, and I'm also gonna add some more on the side, just to make it extra pretty, you know. For the top, I'm going to add pecans. If you do not like pecans, you do not have to add these. You can just go in with your caramel drizzle and call it a day. But because it's, you know, Thanksgiving, I'm going to add the pecans on the top. And I really do like how they taste with the pumpkin cheesecake and the caramel drizzle on top of it.
I love it too. It's delicious.
Baby. So I like my pecans to look pretty. So some of the pecans, I took them back off and replaced them or flipped it because I like the pretty side to show, not the other side that looks like it was a little damaged or anything. So you're going to see some of them change real quick. And then now we're going to go in with our caramel sauce. I'm also going to use a piping bag, but this one does not have an attachment in it. I just made like a really tiny cut at the end of it, so it's really fine. So when you squeeze it, it comes out really nice. The size of the cut that I made at the end of the piping bag is probably 1/2 of a centimeter. It's not really big because I want it very, very thin. Okay. So now I'm going to go over my pumpkin cheesecake, and I'm just going to apply some pressure to the bag and start drizzling this over my pumpkin cheesecake. Alright, you guys, so this is how my pumpkin cheesecake looks. I hope you guys enjoyed the tutorial. If you did, make sure you comment down below in the comment section, thumbs up this video, and subscribe to my cooking channel. And I'll see you guys all in another tutorial. Happy holidays. Bye.